So now I'm at the end again. Time to resume with the light gray. If I continue like this, these two doesn't have anything joining them together. That's why you do the crisscross or Inasia method. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amara, and if today is your first time watching any of my videos, thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a returning viewer, thank you. I really appreciate all the support, everything. It encourages me to keep making these videos, so thank you everybody. And in today's video, we are going to be making a checker print chunky knit blanket. So it's regular knit stitches, but it's going to be a checker print, and I'm thinking of making it in a 4 blocks. So it's going to be 3 colors, but it has 4 blocks in it. And as always, I have my visual representation because I'm a visual learner. If I don't see it, it doesn't make sense in my head. But when I see it, it kind of makes sense. I'm able to make some adjustments before starting the blanket. But this is what it's going to be looking like. My printer also messed it up. I wanted it to be bigger, but I don't know what I did. But that's it. And it's going to be in 3 colors, but 4 blocks. So one color will always be repeated in each row or in each as we go. So it's going to be in ivory, teal, and light gray. Hopefully the 3 colors blend each other and it comes out really nice. So without further much yippee yappy, let's get into it, shall we? So these are the 3 colors that I will be working with. This is ivory, this is light gray, and this is teal. But because I want to have 4 blocks, I have an extra color of ivory for the end. Then this is Yan B, Eternal Blaze. It's from Hobby Lobby. If you have Hobby Lobby close to you, that's where I got them from. So I have my yarn, I have my scissors, I have my lighters, then stitch markers. Hopefully I won't need it, but I'll just keep it on the side. You may need it, you may not need it, so I'll just keep it on the side. Then let's start. So personally, I like to have my checker blanket have the same color on the base and on the finished end. That's my personal preference. Some people would like to have the same colors, like the ivory, the gray, and the teal and the ivory. Some people prefer that, but this is my personal preference. I like for the border down here and on top to be the same color. So since we're starting with ivory and also ivory is the last color here, it kind of works out. So you want to have the 4 colors lined up. But before we do that, I'm going to be casting on the number of chains that I need. So let me show you another way you can make a slip knot. If doing that is like wrapping it around your finger, if that's difficult, you can just keep it on a flat surface, have your tail to your left, your working yarn to your right, and just cross it like this. Then lift this one up, pull this, and here you go. Then you can then adjust it. So you can just have it lying flat on the table, the working yarn, cross it over, lift this part, lift it up a little bit so you can grab the working yarn and make a knot. Then you can adjust and tighten if that works better. So I just thought to show that. So if you have your slip knot, and I'm going to be casting on 80 chains because I want it to be 20, 20, 20, 20 each of the block. So I'm going to do that and I'll see you when I come back. If you don't know how to cast on, I'll be linking a previous video somewhere. I'll be linking a video in the description to show you how you cast on, and I'll be back when it's 80. Welcome back everyone. So I've gone ahead and casted on. Actually, I had to reduce it. I made 60 instead of 80 that I planned earlier because I measured this cast on chain and it was the length that I wanted sort of. So hopefully this will work out and I don't have to remix the blanket. So next step, I'm going to be pulling through the middle humps, like middle humps or the third leg, like I always call it. So now that we reduced it, I'm going to be doing 15 for each block. So we have ivory at the end, we have one here. So I'll be pulling through the middle humps for each one. One. So when you spread the cast on, there are like 3 legs, the top part, the middle, and the third leg. So I'm going through the middle leg to have my first row. Then I'll show you how I'm going to join these colors, which are kind of to get the checker print that you are looking for. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, Okay, so now I have 15 for the first block that will be on my right. Now, according to my graph, we are going to be adding the teal. Okay, so to add the teal, I'm going to leave a short tail, get it, and I'm going to attach it onto this one. Note, I'm not cutting off the first one. I'm not cutting it off. I'm just going to attach this one here by tying it onto this existing yarn. So I'm just going to tie it onto it. When I'm done with the blanket, I will be showing you how I tidy off this. So now I have attached this, just one knot, make it tight, not too tight so it doesn't snap. Then I'm going to continue pulling through. Like I said earlier, this is my personal preference of having the same color of border all through. You can choose to have each color on each block, but this is my preference. So I'm going to pull through another 15 for this teal. Mm, 15, okay. So I have 15. Next, I'm going to be attaching the light gray. Same way I attached this one, I'm going to add it here, leave it till. Okay. When you're attaching it, make sure you're not leaving excess of the original color. So you want to attach it as close as possible so you don't have too much flying around. And we'll continue pulling through with this one. This is the light gray. Actually, I'm just experimenting with these three colors. Hopefully the three of them blend and the blanket really looks good. Okay. So we have all these. Now for the final one. So this is the ivory, same way that we've attached the others. Leave a tail and tie it onto the light gray. So you're just tying it onto the existing yarn and not cutting it off. When I'm cutting it off is going to be when I'm changing the entire block of colors. So I want to tie as close as possible. Pull tight, but not too tight that your yarn snaps. And this should be the final leg. Okay, so now we have the cast on done. Now we're going to be knitting the body of the blanket. You want to try as much as possible to keep the loops the same. Okay, so now I've knitted the last one. Okay, so now this method is called Inasia Method. That's the method to use. So you're not cutting and burning and cutting when you get to each color change. Old over new. So this is the old one. It's coming from the right. This is the ivory. So now I'm going to cross it with the teal. Okay. And then cross it again to have that crisscross. Then when I'm done crisscrossing, I go down to the base and tidy it up. I call it tidying up. So you just pull it tight. This is the first crossing. There's the second one. Just pull it tight so it doesn't have gaps in between, and then continue knitting with the teal. When we have probably like 5, 10 rows is when you see how seamless it is here. So now I'm going to continue knitting with the teal until we have to crisscross again. All right, so now I'm at the end again, time to resume with the light gray. If I continue like this, these two doesn't have anything joining them together. That's why you do the crisscross or Inasia method. But I'm going to stick with crisscross. That's why you do the crisscross, so they are not like standing independently. So right to left, I do old over new and then cross it again. Then when I'm done crossing it, I want to tidy it up at the base. So this is old over new and back again. I want to tidy it up so you don't have those gaps in between. And next. The first one might be showing where you joined it, but it's just the first one. If you don't do it right, it's going to continue all through. Then I'm going to continue knitting with the light gray. We have one more turn to make, and that will be the end of the third row. So now we're at the end again. I'm just showing different angles so that in case you didn't get it the first time, you can probably see it better the second time. So this is the old over new, and then cross it again. When you're done, you want to come to the end, the base here, and tidy it up. Make sure it's as tight as possible. And then let's, so it's seamless.
Okay, so we are at the end of another block. Now we're going to crisscross. So now we are going to crisscross. It's going to be old over new. Okay, old over new, and then cross it again. When you're done crossing, you want to come to the bottom and tidy it up. When I say tidying it up, I mean tightening it down here so it doesn't carry over. This is what the back is looking like, and this is what the front is looking. The gaps are closed. You don't have any gaps here. If you do it nicely, you're not supposed to have any gaps. But if you don't tighten it at the back, it's going to be carrying over and you're going to have gaps and mix match of the colors. Hopefully that makes sense. So now I'm going to continue knitting. I'm going to be making this one hopefully like 13 rows going upwards. I have 15 down. I'm going to have 13 going up, and I'll be back to show you how to switch out the entire colors. Okay?
All right, welcome back. So this is what the blanket is looking like so far. I did 16, and then this one is also 16, but this is what it's looking like. Well color coordinated, and you can see it's really lined up. There are no gaps in it. So I just wanted to show real quick what the blanket is looking like, how far we've gone. And I'm going to change the colors for the last part. And I'm going to show you how I change out the colors to change out the pattern or the checkered pattern on the blocks to change it out. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll continue making the blanket. Okay, so I will be changing out the colors here. So this is a personal preference. I like to change out the colors before I knit the last stitch. You can continue knitting, but this is why I do so. If you can see here, you can see that this last one kind of comes up with the next row that I'm knitting. So if this last stitch was white, here would be white. But this is a personal preference. If you like to double knit your ends, please go for it. But I really don't like doing that, except if the pattern warrants it. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the colors here before I knit the last stitch. So from my pattern, the color grid that I'm using, or the color grid that I'm working on, the light gray is what's going to be on this side now. I like to use the burn method. I've said that a couple of times. I like to use the burn method than tying it. So you, whichever method you like to use to change colors, please do so. If the burn method doesn't work for you and you prefer to tie the ends together, please do so. If sewing it together with thread and needle works for you, please do so. Me, the burning method works for me. So that's what I use on all my blankets. And so far, I haven't had any complaints, except if it ripped apart and the client decided not to say anything. But so far, I've not had anyone complain. Even my own personal blankets that I have that I'm using at home, this is the method I use. I've washed them a couple of times, they didn't come apart. So once you join it, you want to pull to make sure it's not coming apart. I call it the pull test. You want to make sure you pull and it's not coming apart. So that one is done. Now we're going to change out the other color. So currently I have the light gray here. So to change out this one, I'm going to cut it off, not too close to the bottom, but not too much to leave that it will carry over. So I'm going to cut that off, and the ivory is what's going to go on here from the ends. And same burn method is what I'm going to use to join it. I always say be careful when doing this so you don't burn yourself, because this is like a safety issue, but I want to believe it's an adult doing this, so you want to make sure you're not burning yourself. And as always, do a pull test. I cannot stress enough how important the pull test is. Want to make sure you do that. Then moving on to the next one. The next one should be gray. So I'm going to cut this ivory out. Like as always, don't cut too much to the base, just enough. And so I'm going to be putting the ivory here. Oh, sorry, attaching the teal to the ivory. But I'm still in frame. We have one more color change. I like to change out all the colors immediately before I start working on the blanket, so that once I start, I know I'm just going to keep knitting. Okay. Once again, not coming apart, which is good. And the last one, and joining this one. I'm going to pull, make sure it's not coming apart. Yep. So we are good. So let's say I run out of yarn. The same burn method is going to be how I join the same colors. So let's say I was knitting and I run out of teal. I get another teal. I'm going to burn the ends together. That's the same method that I used to change the colors. Is still the same method I'm going to use to join a new color. Oh, yeah, new color, new yarn, the same burn method. So if I feel a bump, I can roll it in between and that kind of softens it. And again, pull test. Okay, so now we are ready to continue to rock and roll. I'm going to continue knitting and I will come back to show you how I cast off or finish off the entire blanket. Okay, people, welcome back. This blanket took me longer than I thought because I kind of miscounted, I would say that. So, but finally, I'm done. I'll be showing what it looks like at the end, but first off, let's cast off, which means finish off the blanket. So, I will be finishing off with this color. This is the light gray. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I like my borders to have the same color if possible, except if the client requests otherwise, but that's my personal preference. So to finish off, same way we cast off every other blanket we make, going to knit the end and double knit it again. So now we are casting off or finishing off the blanket. So same way we casted on, we're going to make sure we have 3 fingers wide each loop. The pull and cross over. That's just about it. You pull, you cross over. And you don't want it to be too tight. That's why I said 3 fingers wide as same as cast on. So this doesn't alter the shape or size of the blanket. So you just keep going like this until you finish. You can choose to finish with the same colors, like the same colors on each block. What you do is, like I finish with the ivory, I continue casting off with the ivory. When I get here, I'm going to cut it off, join it with this one and continue knitting sort of. Oh no. So I measured the blankets. The length that's going across is about 87 inches, which is really big. I didn't anticipate that. Okay, so we have a few more stitches to go. Just a few more, or 2 more, 3. And this is the last one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tuck this one in. Just for a few stitches. I'm going to cut it off here, then burn it. And that's it. If you pull on this, it's not coming apart. So now I'm going to tidy off those excess that are behind. Um, okay, so there are excesses that are going to be behind. It's still going to be on the other side. So this is how I'm going to tidy up both this one and every other one. So I'm just going to show how I'm going to tidy this up. So see how it's coming out from here. I'm going to loop it around this one. Just loop it around to make a knot. No, I didn't do that right. Supposed to loop it around to make a knot. Okay, there we go. I don't think I did that right either. So I'm gonna try on another one. Okay, that's better. Um, and loop it up one more time. I'm trying to make a knot here without pulling too much. There you go. So if we check here, it's still looking good on this side. So now that I've made the knots that I want, hopefully that's secure enough. I'm going to burn it also. Scissors and lighter. This is to prevent it from unraveling, which you use. So same way I tidied this up, I'm going to tidy up every loop or every strand that is just hanging. But on the bottom side, like this one, that's the same way I'm going to tidy that up real quick. Let's see. I'm just going to loop it around. And use my scissors, trim off any excess, and use the burn method. I like to burn everything. And that's it. Hopefully it is not coming apart. So there you have it. That's a tutorial how I make my chunky knits checkered pattern blanket. If this tutorial was helpful to you, please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel. It's going to encourage me to keep making these videos. The blanket is really big. It's very cute. The colors blended out each other perfectly. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.